Of our football team. That was an extremely hard-fought game. We were able to make the play at the end to win the game. Team battled, fought, scratched, clawed. North Carolina State did a great job. I said that going in. They're a good football team. I knew they would come out here guns blazing at home, coming off a 3-game losing streak, and I knew they would be tough to play. They always play us well. They did. Very proud of our team, the way we competed in the game, played in the game, persevered, made plays. Defense did one heck of a job on that last stand, making the plays and the things they had to do. They made a lot of good plays in the game. They were really good on third down, third and long. We have too many third and longs in that game and in some situations, but our defense went in, and he rose up and made the plays offensively. We got things going. Had a couple drops early that set us down. And then we got the good drive, and in the second half we had a couple little things go, and then every time we answer up and come back with what we have, but just I think that was a huge win for us. And I hope we can continue to build. And like I say, we learned to make the one more play today. We learned to make the one more play today. And I think again, it's another indicative of how good the league is. Very good team. No matter who you play in this league, you better be ready to play. It's a tough environment, good place to play. And again, some of our young guys just keep getting better and better. DeAndre was outstanding in the game. Dalvin was really good. We couldn't get him going like we could, but some of the young receivers, Nooney was really good. And Tate made some plays. Rudolph, that was a heck of a play at the end. Izzo caught balls. And we did what we had to do. But very proud of him, and get ready to go quickly, play a Friday night game against Boston College. Questions?
Jimbo, how would you describe how pleased you were to see that defense come up with that stand, given just what's gone on against Clemson and UNC?
Extremely big. Extreme. Because I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of kids, and you're talking about a team that's very depleted player-wise. There's some guys down. You're talking about you got 3 safeties out there that are really, really big-time players. And for those guys, young guys, to keep stepping up in there and playing and making those plays. And of course, we lost another pass rusher, lost Burns at the end of that drive, and they shook that off and just kept making plays. And very proud of them. Charles and those guys did a great job.
How good was that to see? Because it didn't start out well, that drive.
No, it didn't.
30 yards in one play, really.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to set you up, man. I promise you.
It is what it is. See what the call. They made a call. It was a good call. But thought one of our ends got tugged on to get around that edge too. So, but
what did I say about their ability?
Their will. To play the next play. That's what we talk about. The most important play is the next play. That's all that matters. The most important play is the next play. And that's what they did. Our kids they buy into everything we say. We got good kids, I'm telling you. We got good players. They're young, they're learning, but proud of the way they competed at that particular time in the game.
I'm not even for just for the game, but going forward for that young defense, for those guys to get that success.
And to get that and have that taste of making that stop. And again, it's like when you go play as a young player, you get in the game and I got all these accolades, I can play and I can do this. But till you get in that game and play and they go, something, I can do this. And I think as a team you do that. As a unit, an offense, a defense. Again, the offense, another big time drive when the game was on the line and made plays. Defense, fine. Now, they stood up and got the big stop. That's another step for us as a team. As a team, we understand how to do that and very proud of them in that regard.
Nice to see Nooney break out for a second straight game.
It really is. It was really big for him. And, had a critical drop or two. Had some things early in the game that cost us a big drive right there coming off, and there was a route or two, and there's still a lot he can really clean up. There's still a lot he can really clean up, and he knows that. We just had to talk about that. A couple situations on a route on the sideline, he ran a little bit deep. Just technical things. But I'm telling you, he's got a chance to be a very good player. But, other guys in that big catch in that game right there was Kermit. On that vertical catch on that back shoulder throw on the vertical. The one like Nooney made against Clemson, that 8 made right there, that was a big play. And Tate made some big plays in the game. Travis, to get out of that cut and go get that football and get in the end zone, and all those guys, I'm just proud of them.
Coach, this is a place that Florida State hasn't won back-to-back since the mid-'90s.
Someone told me that first time in 20 years we won back-to-back here. Somebody said, I said, wow, that's a heck of a state. that just shows you. And Florida State's had some really good football teams in between there in the 90s and all that stuff. And this shows you that this is a tough place to play and this is a good program.
After all the heartbreakers, though, and some of the back-and-forth games we've played here, to come out of here with a gritty one like that, what's that like for you?
It feels good, I'll tell you that. I feel good right now, I'm not going to lie.
But have you had a season like this with all the swings in games, game to game, week to week with the injuries, everything?
I don't know if I've had this many with the injuries and all that stuff when you go back to it. And at the same time, you're sitting there, you're a couple plays from being a really tough season or a couple plays from having a phenomenal season right now. But now I think that we have a young, talented football team who's learning how to persevere and get through some things together, and hopefully they'll learn from this. And like I say, the injuries, we've learned to overcome those. New guys stepping up, guys jumping over. Think of Erman Lane don't move over what we are at safety right now. How big all those things are. It's amazing how a season twists and turns, and just proud of the kids, the way they're staying together. And I think this can be a very good team, and I love the direction we're going.
Speaking of those injuries, we saw that Trey Marshall, of course, didn't play the second half. He told concussion-like syndrome. What led to it? Was it?
Well, he had him during the week, but they thought it was very light, and he had no contact. He just had it in blue, so they let him run and exercise, which is part of protocol to see where a guy's at. And he was doing good, and we thought he would be able to play. And then we come up here the day before, and the same symptoms, like he thought it'd be going in a day or two, which are typically going. He just had a couple. He just had a little bit lingering, and we said, listen, it don't matter. We're not going to ever put somebody on the field who has any circumstances or anything that would lead that wouldn't be good to his health. I mean, as bad as we needed him. I mean, and knowing him, he was wanting to play. You can bank on that. But as soon as you have any indication of that, we're never going to do that for a player's sake. No game has ever worked that. So he just had a very and it was actually a small lingering thing. But you can't do that.
I think try to plan for these things in terms of okay, what happens if X, Y, and Z, but to have it happen that late. I mean, how much adjusting do you and your staff have to do to kind of figure things out?
Well, we had to do, especially for a whole game, because we had some things in the second half that we wanted to do a little bit differently. You know what I mean? That we got guys ready in the first half to do, but then we had to make that change that night to try to add some of those things on to what, because you can't give a guy that first group too big a load. You know what I'm saying? You got to make sure they can do what they got to do. So we tried to add a little bit of that, and Charles and those guys did a good job.
Jimbo, so many ups and downs the team has faced this season. How do you push them to continue to be so resilient?
That's what we do at Florida State, and that's not a cliche. I'm not trying to say that. That's our culture. That's what we build things on: the toughness, the effort, the discipline, the pride. We talk about it every day. We talk about finding a crumb. Now, just give me a little bit, and let me try. See a little, see a lot. Anytime somebody challenges you, go higher. Just keep going higher to another level. No matter what it is, you can go higher, and then have some grit. You got to bite your teeth into it and go. And that's what I'm so proud of these guys doing. We talk about those things, those mottos, those things every day, and they believe it.
Is it a little bit more rewarding to get the win this week?
It is, and because it says that if you keep working and it shows you if the hard work and the things you do, it gets you to where you're going. You know what I mean? Again, that's another thing I think we got today. That's 35 straight bowl games. I think was getting close to a record. That sets us for 35 straight bowl games. We're being bowl eligible day. Another winning season. I mean, the last one I think didn't have was 1981. So I mean, and the program and the things this program's accomplished over the years with Coach Bowden and the legacy he left. We just want to honor that and keep playing the same grit and determination they did.
But in your opinion, how much better was DeAndre in the second half than the first half?
He was better, but in the first half, sometimes though, you say a guy's better, but he got more opportunities. The opportunities got going. Sometimes the ball gets tipped, or there ain't somebody open, or whatever it is. But he was pretty good for the most part the whole game. But again, very clutch when the big moments came on. Made the throws, made the throws down the field, stood in there, took some shots, and a couple of those shots were nothing that. No lineman, like when our back picked up a blitz and they call what they call a green dog. In other words, that means is whoever has the back then adds on, and there ain't nobody. I mean, that's part of football. And he stood in there a couple times, took those shots, and played well. But I thought for a couple times our offensive line blocked pretty well in pass pro for the most part.
And on that play, is Rudolph the first read?
Second.
Okay. All right. And because
I can't tell you everything.
Well, sure. But I mean, he stood in there and took a shot.
Oh, he did.
Off his back foot to get it all the way.
And we know, but see, when because they brought all out blitz. So when you go all out blitz now, so you can do that, and you can miss and lay balls with air because there's no other defenders there to fall off. Like if you're in a zone and that happens, a guy comes scot-free. And then when there's not a lot of extra blitzers, then you can't make those kind of throws. And we talk about that. And we talk you miss in safe zones. Those you got to throw away. When it's like zero, you throw it to where our guy gets it over the top because it's pure man coverage. There's no help anywhere or anything like that. So those are things we talk about and work on at the end of games and red zones. And because in red zones you get a lot of pressure. We work a lot of those scenarios, and he's very good at it. When you have an arm that's that talented and athletic, he can create those plays.
And how good is that to see? Because he had made maybe his worst decision on the play before.
Oh, it was. He really did. I mean, how many times? For how many times? That's a big play. I mean, how many times you see that I've seen it happen to us. You don't take advantage of an opportunity, and all of a sudden you get it the next play. And he made a big mistake in that one. That was one he should never thrown.
How encouraging was it to see the passing game kind of pick up the slack